And welcome back to Truth Hurts, where we tell the truth no matter how painful that may be. Do you like that change there? It just came
it was different.
Huh? Yeah?
Different.
Yeah,
No.
well, we also expose corrupt politicians and lying corporate media. I'm Jake Duesenberg, your host, broadcasting live from Roseville, Minnesota, in the belly of the beast. Joining me, I'm so excited about this. We're not going to make the statement today. Not today. You got to come to our Christmas event on December 7th, 1 week away. But in studio today is Mr. Eric Mortensen, former Representative Liberty Champion. How you doing there, buddy?
So good. I'm so excited about the show today.
The show and next week's show too, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's going to be a big announcement.
Yep, huge.
Some would say huge,
Yep.
huge announcement. Probably the best announcement I've ever seen. The guy that loves Trump more than anything, more than life itself, is Mega Jesse. Reading your comments today. How you doing, Mega Jesse?
Oh, yeah. Doing pretty good. Lots to get into here.
Yeah, there you go. So it's weird not seeing you in Bridget's chair, but we'll let it pass. I mean, you can do a good job reading the comments. Maybe not
Give
up
it
to
a
Bridget's
try.
level. If you're watching at home, make sure you go on to Rumble, hit like, and join us in the comment section. We'll try to get to Facebook and other ones, but Rumble is the first option for us. If you want to interrupt us anytime, get your comment read live on air or be part of the discussion, hit the Rumble rant. We will read your comment for sure. Running the dials, as usual, the buff man himself. We call him Mr. Deep State. Dawson, how you doing there?
I'm doing pretty good. My ego is boosted. I've got a protein shake right over here, ready to go. It's loving it.
Wait, you got a protein shake in that Gatorade bottle?
No.
Oh,
No,
I was
it's
going to
fine
say,
there.
that's weird. Gunk up the thing.
It's weird to have my protein shake in a bottle.
A bottle like that, yeah, you don't put a protein shake in that because it just gunk up the
Well,
little
now I'm
nozzle.
going to do it.
Yeah. You're new to it. Don't worry about it. All right. Today's show. Man, we got a lot to talk about here. First off, turmoil in the image GOP. A good contingent of delegates want to remove the chairman and a couple other officers of the party. I mean, I don't know. Why would they want to do that, Mort? They've only lost like big elections in the last 2-3 years. They can't fundraise except for like wealthy donors outside the state. They continue attacking the grassroots, conservative candidates. Why would anyone want to remove the party chair?
Yeah, it's like Trump said, you're going to be sick of all the winning, but in Minnesota, we're sick of all the losing. So there's a plethora of reasons to get rid of this guy.
I know, but they would say, well, it's Trump's fault, right? Like, they'll say that to people. They'll be like, yeah, we got to get rid of this thorn in our side. It's Trump.
Politicians skirting accountability?
I know,
Is
right?
that what you're suggesting?
That's what I'm just saying. Truth hurts, man.
That's a long shot.
All right, so we're going to talk about that. This China virus 2.0 that we were talking about on Tuesday, now there's some cases in Ohio. A county in Ohio says there's a spike in pneumonia amongst children. We'll get to that story in just a bit. Trump basically has a chance to beat Biden in Minnesota, according to a new poll released by MinnPost. We'll get into that story. Did you see what Elon Musk said to the advertisers who want to blackmail him?
Nope.
Oh, well, then you get to watch it live. It's good. It's a very good comment. It's in the Raw. Tonight's DeSantis for Gavin Newsom on Hannity. And if we get time, we'll talk about The Rock on Joe Rogan. I don't know if we'll get to that topic or not. Depends on people in the comment section. And we already got a bunch. Let's start reading those before we get into the first subject.
Yeah, we got Tucker, Carla Nelson here. We got Mike
Patriot
Gallagher.
Carla Nelson.
Yep. And Brad Ganser says, can't wait for Mort's big announcement at the Christmas party. And Glenn Codden, future Attorney General, says, what is the dress code for the Action for Liberty Christmas party?
Oh, that's a great question. I should have, well, I'll put out an email. Because, guys don't think about this as much as women. Women always care. Glenn's probably asking because he's got a lady that's joining him there.
Probably, yeah.
Right? So we see everything from gorgeous evening dresses, evening gowns, to, jeans and a shirt, So whatever you want to do.
I'm pretty much going to wear something like that.
There you go. And you're speaking.
Yeah.
Some years I dress up. Some years I wear an ugly sweater. So it depends. No, whatever you want to. We go to the Mermaid. Listen, we're grassroots oriented. Most Christmas or most events, if you see conservative events in Minnesota, they're like over $100 a ticket. We keep this thing, even with inflation, we kept it down to $60. And I think the dinner's just fine, right? They just may not put that little garnish on it, but it's at the Mermaid. Now, the venue is nice. They really increased the room. But let's be honest, this is a down-to-earth kind of place. I just wish they keep that bar open later afterwards, because remember last year we went to the bar and they had already closed?
Mm-hmm.
Weren't you with us? You weren't with us last year? That's right. You bailed.
I was there. I had to leave
Yeah,
early.
you bailed. Okay. What else do we got here before we get into
Yeah,
the
and then
story?
we got Laser Jim 56 saying hi from Gaylord. We got, I guess it'd be Crizzy MKE saying hello. Billy 22 saying good afternoon, everybody. And we got Cindy Wynn on Facebook saying, OMG, so tired of our GOP and Democratic crooks running this state.
And that's exactly it. It's a uniparty. Let's get into the story. There's a move by a guy named Larry Deuce. Now, I know that name, Larry Deuce. So does the media that reported on this story, but apparently David Hann, it's an anonymous person that wants to remove him as chair.
Yeah, that's what
Lie
he claims.
number one, right? We're going to bring Mark Bishofsky on in just a second, who's on the state exec council, is going to set the record straight on this. So, Dawson, pull up the link I've got in, let's see here. That is, where'd my notes section go? On line 7. This is a MailChimp. This is from Larry Deuce, who's the chairman of Mille Lacs County. Mille Lacs, as you can imagine, is just right by Mille Lacs, the big lake. There you go. Can you zoom in a little bit? And this is a notice to state central delegates and the alternates. State central is like the internal delegation of the Republican Party. It's roughly like 350 people, okay? So, and they make up the decisions of the party. They decide who the chair is. Should I rewind the fact that we have this election that basically no red wave happens. Democrats take over in a trifecta in the government. And a month, was it even a month? It was at least, it might be less than a month after that election, the Republican Party is already having a vote on who the next leader is, and no one runs, essentially, against David Hann. And why does he think he should run again, by the way? Like, you should step down. You just got crushed. You're terrible. Like, you literally lost everything. So anyhow, they elect David Hann because he didn't really have a good alternative. So the state central delegates and seated alternates have a duty to the Republican Party of Minnesota to ensure party officers are placing the interests of the party first and leading the party in a manner that will provide the best path to victory in 2024. In order to fulfill our duties to the Republican Party and to people of Minnesota, the many concerns identified about the current chair must be addressed as quickly as possible. The party has called a state central meeting on December 9th. On November 22nd, the chair was personally served with a statement of charges explaining why he must be removed as required in Article Article 16, Section 2. I'm trying to remember if I know how to do Roman numerals. Article 16, Section 2 of the Constitution of the Republican Party of Minnesota. The chair has a duty to respond to these charges. The delegates have the right to hear his response and seek any needed clarification about these charges, and then vote on whether he should be removed or deserves to retain his status as chair. If the delegation determines removal is necessary to protect the party, the delegate will have the right to select a new chair. The party will not unite this matter until it's resolved. And then they have links here to the different documents that were served. They also they served documents on the deputy chair, Bergstrom, and the RNC committee woman, Sutter. By the way, I'm not going to go into those charges. I wonder if we could put that link up somewhere, maybe on Facebook or Rumble. But listen, if you've watched this show enough, we've told you the problems with the Republican Party in Minnesota, especially when it comes to attacking Action for Liberty. Like David Hann, literally, and by the way, no one in the leadership at the time, Mark Bishofsky was not in leadership at the time.
Yep.
No one at the time stepped up and said anything about this, but they literally made an accusation against us, Action for Liberty, lying to their whole email list, however big that is, saying that we're basically guilty of a crime that we didn't even commit. We're still fighting that with the Campaign Finance Board, which I would allege that David Hann and some of these people are behind, actually, because they have the same damn lawyer, in case you didn't know that. So anyhow, last night, the state exec council, so we're talking about now like a dozen or so people, they meet. By the way, you're not going to hear this anywhere else. I just want to say, some people have reported that there's a removal going on, but no other media outlet's going to tell you what we're going to tell you today. And I hope this is interesting to you. Maybe you don't give a shit about the Republican Party in Minnesota, which is fine. It's your duty. But I just want to explain how this uniparty is a massive problem and why you're getting a bad deal.
So can I give a little backdrop here?
Give a backdrop, man. I'm going right into it, and I might be off. I hope I'm not keeping you waiting too long, Mark. We'll bring you on in just 1 minute. Go give the backdrop.
Yeah, I'll be super quick. So what Larry mentions in his email is those charges were served on the 22nd of November, my birthday. Thanks for the birthday present, Larry.
Wait, I thought you were behind this, Eric.
Oh, apparently. I'm learning all
day.
sorts of ambitions that I have, apparently. So I think it's important for people to know that 3 months ago in the last State Central meeting, I made a motion to remove Hann as chair. And the excuse of the folks on the stage and the chair of the convention was, well, the charges weren't delivered to David Hann at least 10 days in advance, which is what the Constitution requires, I think, as you just read. So now what's interesting here is, so that's how they killed my motion 3 months ago. Now these amazing individuals have filed these charges 18 days in advance. So that box has been checked. And so what I cannot wait for December 9th for is to see how they now try to kill this. And I think it's going to be very eye-opening for some of these State Central delegates who attended both meetings to go, wait a minute, we agreed 3 months ago because this 10-day notice wasn't there. But now an 18-day notice has been given, and I guarantee they're going to try to kill it.
Oh, man, you're so insightful, Mort. It's almost like you've been around the block enough to see this happen before, right?
Yeah, a couple times.
I know, and a lot of people haven't, and that's the unfortunate thing. It's like, is he jaded? No, he just knows what they're going to do. All right, let's bring in Mark here. Mark, I'm sorry for keeping you waiting because I know your time is precious these days. He's, by the way, very busy, so he can't be on our show that often. Jeez. Is this something I said? I don't know. Is it something I said? Is it Israel stuff? I don't know. I don't know what it is with Mark. Anyhow, Dawson, pull this email response up, and then I want your comments on this, Mark. This is from David Hann responding, and this came out late last night, and this goes out to all the State Central delegates. If you're wondering why you didn't get it, maybe you were a delegate last year to the state convention. That's like a body of 2,000 people. But this year they determined who the State Central delegates are, so it's a much smaller group of people. And he says, as you may have heard, the State Executive Board, I'm going to read it actually in a way that's exciting, not boring in his voice. The State Exec Board met tonight to discuss anonymous charges that were delivered to me, Deputy Chair Donna Bergstrom, Secretary Jenna Dix, Committeeman Alex, what's his name? Asrash, and Committeewoman Barb Sutter. The anonymous charges were for the removal of those 5 officers. In the days that have followed, requests to consider those anonymous charges as legitimate and add removal of the officers as an agenda item were sent to board members in conjunction with a public press release that bloodied the party and the media over the last few days. Now, you see he's doing a one-sided talking point using the party list, right, which is, interesting right alone. But there's some lies in this thing. What is he talking about anonymous? Everyone knows it's Larry Deuce. I just read you the press release by Larry Deuce. Plus, when did Alex, what's his name?
Asrash.
And Jenna Dix get involved in this list. I'm going to tell you in a little bit what I think. Then they say, if you scroll down a little bit, it says, tonight the board unanimously voted in favor of a motion to follow the Constitution, specifically Article 5, Section 1, which states the convention in this case shall transact such business as specified in the call of the convention and may transact other such business as a majority of the convention may determine. Unanimous. So there we go. Mark Bishofsky, you guys were unanimous last night, right?
I think we should, first of all, I want to say, I think it'd be good to kind of describe what the State Executive Committee is. I mean, I had no clue what it was. So State Executive Committee is 15 members. 5 are elected officers. And then there's 1 representative from each congressional district. So there's 15 people that kind of oversee, I don't know, not the day-to-day operations. We meet once a month. We answer to the State Central Committee, I believe is how it works. I reluctantly agreed to run for the position. I hate politics, but everything I do, as anyone who knows me, is I'm here to fight for my kids' future. And so I was like, all right, I'll do this. I thought maybe I'd be like the olive branch between the establishment and the grassroots to bring us together to unify. I won 70% of votes at our convention to be elected to be the state executive vice chair. So I am on that committee. I will also say this. There was a meeting last night. It wasn't a private or secret meeting. All the minutes for these meetings, once they're approved, are available for any delegate to see. So I don't know how any of this shall be secretive. And I also want to say that there's a mole in the room, that somebody's leaking this information. It isn't me. This meeting went till 9:30 last night. I ended up reading to my kids afterwards. I woke up this morning to an email saying what happened in the meeting. So for all you other state executive members that are watching this, because I know there's going to be a few, I am not your freaking mole. I did not leak that. I did not leak that Joe Ditto and I were the only ones that voted to put the item to remove on the agenda. Not me. But since the cat's out of the bag, and I ran on transparency, I'm here to set the bullshit misinformation that was posted in that email. It's not untrue information. It's misinformation. It's not all the information, which I guess that's what politicians do.
Well,
Right?
when I read the email, it's like, oh, well, the state exec is unified. Okay, so that seems to be incorrect, what you just told me. There's 2 votes against this motion. And then the other thing that's just interesting to me is they just say it's anonymous. Like, what are you talking about anonymous? Like, every delegate knows Larry Deuce's name is behind the charges against the removal of David Hann. What are you talking about anonymous?
Yeah, to me, it's not anonymous. I think the argument will be that the papers that were delivered weren't signed. So you could say.
But what papers were delivered? I think it was, I had heard, and you tell me if this is true, that there were new papers served yesterday against Jenna Dirks and committee person Alex, what's his name?
Alex Ashrash.
Ashrash. Okay, there you go. Mm-hmm. MAGA Jesse doesn't like the guy. He's like, he's an anti-Trump. Is that what he is? He's just.
I mean, there's too much to get into with that one.
Okay.
I don't even want to start on it.
His name is Pleshash. I don't know.
Plekich.
The guy. Plekich. Sorry,
Yeah.
I don't know the guy, but he certainly's got opinion on him. All right, so I heard that this was delivered like yesterday, and maybe that one was anonymous. Is that correct?
I don't even know. I mean,
well, it certainly wasn't done by Larry Deuce.
And it wasn't done by me.
Mark,
as much as I'd like to see it happen, it wasn't me.
Mark, can I hit you up on your transparency? Was Larry Deuce's name mentioned in this meeting last night or throughout any of these other conversations?
Of course. And I should also mention, I don't know Larry Deuce. I have never met him. I've never exchanged messages. I've never spoke to him. I've never called him. I don't know this guy. I have nothing to do with this movement to remove. Nothing at all. I've never talked to the guy. I'm not your mole. Somebody in the room last night was, though. Somebody leaked the information.
I say that again without winking. No, I'm just kidding. I actually did talk to Larry Deuce about a year and a half ago, because he went. So he's from Mille Lacs County, and Kurt Doubt's district got redistricted in, and Sandra Erickson just graciously conceded her seat and didn't run again. So there was a actual endorsement challenge, right, against Kurt Doubt. So he had a meet and greet, and apparently he was trashing Action for Liberty at his meet and greet. That's apparently what Kurt Doubt used to do. Not a lot of people think about him these days because he's the former failed minority leader. And anyhow, this guy calls up because he wants to know the truth. And so we had this very good conversation. To me, it seemed like he's a straight shooter, this Larry Deuce guy. So when I heard about this, I'm like, okay, well, this is interesting. We should have talked about this on Tuesday. I don't think we even brought it up on Tuesday's show, did we? I don't think we did. A lot of people kind of knew about it. There's a lot of people that you guys, I'm sure a lot of you are not even involved in the party. I see Brad Ganser is up there. Brad certainly is. But, a lot of you guys probably aren't involved, so this is brand spanking new. But, there's a lot of reasons to want to see these guys get changed out. I mean, performance is the number one, in my opinion. Like, I can't imagine losing everything and saying, yeah, let me continue being at the helm. Like, what are you talking about? Maybe we need to actually change the system, right?
Yeah, I agree. When you're not winning elections, you're protecting rhino politicians, people who aren't voting under their principles. So when you are a party that is unprincipled and you aren't winning elections, my God, there are no wins here. So it's time for leadership change.
Exactly. The principle part is a big deal. Like, you're not standing on anything, right?
Yep. Like, I could be more, this would be unpopular to say, but I can be more, what's the word?
Don't say it because I don't want you to ruin your announcement.
Oh, I'm not going down that route. What I'm saying is I could be more understanding if we had strong, principled politicians in office and a strong, principled party, state party with executive leaders that were strong and principled. And so that to me makes losing elections more tolerable if you know that the Republican brand actually stands for something. Because I think that's a viable alternative then. And when people get sick of the existing economic calamity and the pending economic calamity, they know there's an alternative there. But it seems to be the state GOP strategy is just be Democrat light and somehow they'll win over Democrat support, which is idiotic.
Literally, you're not saying something that's crazy here. Like literally, David Hann's own mouth, right? Hey, candidates, you're going to be asking about abortion. Just say it's not on the ballot, right? And say it's a constitutional right. He literally took the Democrats' talking point and goes, that's the statement we want you guys to do. And then, of course, Scott Jensen's like, oh, okay, I'll do that.
Yeah.
No, I think Scott Jensen was involved in that too. I mean, let's not pretend like Scott Jensen's this innocent guy and all that. He was the one pushing that message first. David Hann's just the copycat.
Okay, fair point. Yes, Mega Jesse, I stand corrected. Going back to you, Mark, what did you find the most egregious about this statement from the party, right, that made you want to actually speak out against it?
Well, to me, it's just upsetting. And again, there is a certain amount of, privacy I want to provide to some of the members. Although I did run on transparency, so I'm going to watch what I say to a certain degree, but there should not have been a statement saying it was a unanimous decision. But I will tell you that statement in Chair Hand's email isn't untrue. So based on
it's a sleight of hand, right?
Based on the Constitution, he left out information. And this is all going to be available in the minutes. So I'm not telling anyone anything that they're not going to be able to find out later. But the statement that there was a unanimous vote to not put it on the agenda is true. I voted for that because we do not, based on our Constitution and bylaws, have to comply with Larry Deuce's request based on the Constitution. It has to be like, I don't remember the exact language, but it has to be, the charges needed to be presented 10 days before the call, not 10 days before the convention.
No, the way that I read it is he did do the 10 days. It's just that it has to go out in the call, and the call had already happened, which seems to be about the dumbest thing I've ever seen in terms of a rule, because you just have to have like this foresight that I would know what the call would have. So, so what's the point in the 10-day?
And how can you amend an agenda if there isn't an agenda out there? So, I don't understand how anybody could put forward this type of resolution, this type of filing to remove David Hann and the others until the call is already out and we know when the meeting is going to be and all of that. So that argument doesn't make sense.
And to give you maybe some leniency here, it's like you weren't lawyered up, right? David Hann certainly had lawyers weigh in on this stuff. So they came in prepared to figure out a way to maneuver around it, right? I think everyone understands Larry Deuce had done something 10 days prior. He's not anonymous. He knows it. He's made a statement. He's set this out to the people. And what it looks like to me is somebody trying to protect their own ass and not allow this to be on the agenda. And first of all, why is he voting for it? That's a conflict of interest in of itself. Trying to keep off the agenda. And then he goes around and says it was unanimous, meaning like, wait a second. The exec council is unanimously against this will of whatever the block of delegates are. I don't know. It could be a majority, by the way. I have no idea how big that block of delegates are. It's certainly a sizable portion because, didn't you have a resolution at the previous council meeting?
Yeah, and this is the constitutional language I used 3 months ago. I have it right here. And, of course, the party ignores the parts of the Constitution that doesn't benefit them.
Right.
And then they invoke the parts that do benefit them. So right here, Article 9, Section 3, Subset B. Sorry if this is boring. But then item 4, it says any state party officer may be removed by a 2/3 vote of those present at any meeting of the state central committee. Yeah. So how you right-size that with this weird 10-day requirement, and now they're going to say, well, it's not really 10 days. You got to magically guess when the call's going to come out, and you have to do it before the call comes out. And I just think it's interesting that the call comes out on the 21st, and clearly I think the party knew that this was some movement that was going to happen, so they were racing to get a call out before they could get these charges brought against them. And I'm assuming Larry or whoever at that time went, well, shit, I better get these charges out, because then the next day the charges went out.
Right. All right.
Yeah,
I cut you off.
Based on the Constitution, and that's the thing. Rules are rules. Constitution says what it says. Based on that, I had to agree that we don't have to comply with that request. But then I made the argument in discussion that we ought to. We don't have to put it on there, but we ought to, because this is something that's not going to go away. We have to allow these many delegates. I mean, I'm getting a lot of emails from people, saying to support the grassroots. So my argument was, you just have to let them vote. We have to let them do this. They're part of the party. We're not a democracy, by the way. It's a republic. We have to listen to the minority. It's not mob rule. We have to listen to them, even if they are a minority. And also, 2/3 vote to remove. Is that even attainable? Probably not. So I don't know what the huge, I mean, I can only assume that if 55 or 60% of the people voted to remove, that looks real bad, even though it doesn't remove him, if you follow,
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the MNGOP Constitution right now. I'm reading Article 16, Section 2, removals, where it says, notice of every proposal for removal by any committee or other body of the party shall be included in the notice of the meeting, and the individual concerned shall be served with a detailed statement of their charges against them at least 10 days prior to such meeting. So obviously Larry Deuce did that. He gave the notice 10 days, more than 10 days in advance. The only argument that the MNGOP could say is, well, it wasn't a part of the notice, but how could something be a part of the notice if the delegates don't know exactly when this meeting is going to happen? You'd have to submit it beforehand. So this is just the biggest parliamentary BS I've ever heard in my life. It's avoiding the entire procedural process of this entire thing. And it's so obvious. I think over half of the delegates already want to see this debated. And, you don't even need that many to, understand that there should be that debate. So the fact that there is such a vocal opposition shows that this debate needs to happen.
Yeah, 3 months ago, I think we had 42% of the delegates in support of my motion. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure that was embarrassing for Hann. But that's why I have hope and trust that once they saw mine go down, because I had a bunch of delegates come up to me that day and say, well, hey, look, just file the charges 10 days in advance of the next meeting. And people were trying to get me to...
Let me butt in there, because that is exactly the case. I had people, I wasn't able to be at State Central the last meeting, and I had people tell me that they didn't vote for your motion more because they wanted it done properly, the 10 days before thing, So you get a lot more than 42% if it's done procedurally, if your motion was done against procedure rules even. I hate politics.
Well, this is what gets to me, Mark, and this is why I like talking about this, because I don't have a big interest in inter-party stuff, A lot of people that surround me do. It's just that people see this as like a uniparty. They see the grassroots can be squashed all the time, right? And it's not a problem. It would be really easy for us to go, oh, look, it's only happening on the Democrat side. And it's not only happening on the Democrat side. And I don't know if there's really a difference between the Democrat establishment and the Republican establishment. Really? They just put on a different color coat. That's it. Like, they're the same kind of people. All they care about is power. And in the case of this, they care about power of, like, never being in a governing majority, right? Like, they keep losing.
Well, and I want to stack on what Jesse was saying, because it's not going to go away. And I'm disappointed here only 2 out of the 14 people voted to put on the agenda last night, because people are going to keep bringing this up. And if they kill it successfully again this coming, well, I guess in 2 Saturdays, I would encourage Larry Deuce or anybody else, any other activist that wants to file similar charges, do it on December 10th. And then you are guaranteed to beat any future meeting call if that's what has to happen. And at that point, I just don't know how they shut it down. But I guarantee
but they'll find a way, won't they?
Exactly. They'll say, well, there should have been a comma there, not a semicolon. So you know what? Technically, we can move forward.
Let's go.
It has to be dealt with. Whether or not Chairman Hann is removed or not, this has to be dealt with. If we want to move forward as somewhat unified, it has to be dealt with. If they squash this, it's just going to piss off the grassroots. People are going to leave the party and not vote. I mean, people watching, you guys know what they did to me and Mort, spending hundreds of thousands of dollars against Mort and I, establishment Republican groups, spending money to defeat us duly endorsed candidates. The grassroots is the people that were working on my campaign, the 100 people I had volunteering, they're done. They're done after seeing what they did to me. And so that's why they could have used me as that olive branch. Like, look, we've got the grassroots right here at the table. Let's unify. But that's not what's happening in my view. It's sad, man.
Yeah, and it's like always the call to unify is, unify with us. Like, come over to the dark side. It's never unify amongst the conservatives. Like I'm a big unity guy, but the unity's got to be around our conservative values.
Yeah, that's where I stand with it. Unify around the party platform. That's why we all consider ourselves Republicans. We buy into those principles, but they want us to unify behind their power structures, not behind the principles.
Let's go to
maybe we need to change our platform in order to be more like Democrats to win. Don't you think we need to do that?
Scary. Yeah, I know. That's pretty much how they think. Well, they're already saying it. I mean, without even changing the platform, isn't Hann saying that we got to rethink our position on abortion? Like,
and then these same people, the state party, are dumbfounded. Why are donations not happening? It's because you stomp on the grassroots people that would be willing to donate to a principal party.
Right. I mean, their biggest fundraiser is going to be State Central. It's going to be all of us showing up because that's the only time they can get money out of us. It's when they force us to have to pay to be able to vote. You know, it's such a scam. You know, it's only when we, you know, that's the only time I give the MNGOP money is if I have to go to the State Central and say, oh man, I got to dish out $65 for these clowns, and you know, $85 for a guest. These people are unbelievable. They do not want the grassroots there. They don't want guests to be there watching. They don't want people to see what the Republican Party is all about, because then they would be exposed for exactly what they are. And you know, I got a quick question for Mark. So were all 5 of these removals considered in one motion, or was it separated out to have the 2 that came one day and then the 3 that came another, or were there 5 separate votes? What was the structure of those?
I believe the language is just to vote on the removal of the 5. Now, I don't know if that would be done as a slate or argue against that greatly. It would have to be done individuals would have to be voted on each one. But it didn't pass, so it doesn't matter. But if it does come up at the State Central meeting, it needs to be done individually, because you know the argument was that all the charges were basically identical, which I believe to be true. I did read through the bulk of it. But
but here's the thing: Larry Deuce isn't behind that. So what I think happened here is someone muddied up the system. I wouldn't be surprised if it's like David Hann muddied it all up by creating 2 new charges against these people, and then it was done anonymously, so there's no culprit behind it, no one that get pointed to, and then he's got deniability in his press release. Oh, well, I'll show you the documents against Jenna Dirks. There's nobody on it. It's like, wow, this is the kind of slimy shit these guys do.
It's Jenna Dix, by the way.
What did I say?
Jenna's good lady.
What did I say?
You said Dirks.
Dirks. I knew it.
Let's set the record straight. She's,
it's Dix Nasrash.
Good grassroots conservative.
Okay, so we got it right. Dix and then Ashrish.
I got a good one for you here. Excuse me, I might have a Vonage call coming in, so just ignore this. I'm gonna.
I know.
So I got a good one, just to play devil's advocate here for you. Let me get rid of this noise.
Why would you advocate for the devil, Mark? By the way, you're being called out. I saw on the thread. Why are you wearing Patagonia? Weren't they against...
I know. I got it before the wokeness.
I know. I still wear my puffy coat. My puffy coat, like my down puffy coat's in Patagonia. I got like cargo or Carhartt flannels, and eventually I found out I'll just take a razor blade and cut off the Carhartt. But it's like, just because they suck after the fact doesn't mean I can't still wear my clothes. I don't like going to buy clothes.
I know. My wife bought me this. This is like a $90 deal. It's comfortable. I know. I get it.
Yeah.
But let me get to that. I only got a little more time here, but there was a good point brought up last night. That Larry Deuce, is he just causing trouble for the party? Now, this is a guy that is a chair of a BPOU, but apparently only raised like $3,100, a measly $3,200 last year. And apparently, like, the BPOU to the north raised like 10 times that amount. So is Larry just this guy that's trying to...
Wait, who said this? Who said this?
Somebody did.
At the meeting?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fucking... You know why that's bullshit?
Well, I'm assuming it's Kurt Dowd's.
Yeah, that's Isanti County.
Yeah. and let me tell you this, $3,100 raised in a year by your typical BPOU is pretty damn good. Now, if you're going to compare that to Kurt Dowd's district and the cronyism that happens there and the vote buying and the favor buying, that's apples and oranges there.
I'm going to do something here for you because that's funny you bring that up. Let's do this. We're going to do this live. I'm going to show people how to research how BS that is. Dawson, I'm going to dump it on line 14. Just go to line 14. This is, if you look up the campaign finance reports, of Isani County BPO. Now, Isani County is just as rural as Mille Lacs, right? $3,100 is pretty typical for one of these rural, they call them BPOUs, rural like Republican Party use. So someone actually levied that accusation last night, acting like Larry Deuce is not really a team player. Here is do you have it? Okay, so go. You see where it says reports and data? It's a tab. No. Go down back. Go back down. Right there. And then go to the reports on the top, Amendment 2. That would be showing the newest one. And you have to zoom in a little bit. This is Isani County. Okay, so yep, there you go. There's the one that I'm sure they're referring to the north. Unless they're talking about Morrison County, which is the same thing.
No, I think you're in the right spot.
Okay, so you see how, scroll up a little bit. The total revenue's $28,971. So this is a rural little BPOU. Now scroll down. Let's see where this money came from. All right, keep going. Stop. Minnesota State Patrol Troopers Association. So a PAC. Minnesota House Leadership PAC. By the way, there's some crony money. Mm-hmm. Minnesota House Leadership PAC. Right, establishment money. Why is a PAC donating $26,000 to a rural BPOU?
In a red district.
Yeah,
where they don't need $26,000 to be spent.
Right. Minnesota Young Republicans Victory Fund. Weren't those the people that like backed Eric Pratt against Natalie Barnes? St. Paul Teachers Pension PAC. Yeah, that sounds like a good conservative group.
Yeah.
Donated to Sandy County BPOU. So when you look at their non-itemized right there, you see the total amounts. Non-itemized, let's that be like small donors. It's half of what Larry Deuce raised.
Yeah.
So if you want to compare apples to apples, now I would venture to say they did give to candidates in this district. Scroll down.
Oh, I bet. And so for people who don't know this, PAC can only donate up to $1,000, at least for a House race.
To a candidate.
But here I don't think there's any limit to donate to a party of a group, a BPOU.
Well, right there you go. Kurt Dowd, number 2.
Yeah.
$5,000 cash.
Yeah.
Like
it's essentially money laundering.
It's like legal money laundering, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we got to be careful when we say money laundering. We're saying legal, right?
Yeah.
You're basically just taking these funds, bringing them in, and then diverting them out to politicians, right? Yep. Now, the reason this is a problem, because I guess it technically wouldn't be a problem, is a lot of good conservatives, and they really like what the person's doing. But in this case, it's a lot of special interests and lobbyists that do it. Because I guarantee if you look up the new House Leadership PAC or whatever that was called, you're going to find a bunch of registered entities, lobbyists. And so they want something back. And this here is the problem. Why are we not getting people at the party caring about the grassroots? Because that's where their money's coming from. By the way, I was going through the books of the Republican Party of Minnesota recently. Steve Flynn is a donor to the Republican Party, the infamous casino tycoon in Vegas. Why would he have an interest in Minnesota Republican Party? It's like they're just getting some of these big wealthy donors, and that's who their boss is. Meanwhile, the grassroots not their boss. It's not at all. They don't give a shit about you guys. It's because that's not where their money. That's one of the big differences between them and Action for Liberty, where our donations are grassroots. Like essentially, if we're against what you guys care about, same thing with this show, by the way, then we wouldn't exist anymore, right? We have to answer. We have to be on board with you. They don't. They're getting their gravy train somewhere else. Let's go to questions and comments before we lose more.
Yeah, we got Tasco Hansen. The Constitution notice has to be provided at least 10 days before the meeting, not 10 days before the call. You are right on there. Base Minnesota says, before Mark leaves, can we get the latest rabbit hole he's been going down? Dude is based. So, Mark,
that's a great comment there, Mark.
What's your latest rabbit hole there, Mark?
Let's stay on topic.
No, so I don't really have one. It's the excess death and cancer going through the roof, and I have some good data now showing that cancer rates have flown through the roof, and there's a good argument to say that 17 million people have died from the vaccine. It's crazy. So I'm trying to verify a lot of that data. Follow my Substack, markbishofsky.substack.com.
Okay.
A lot of good articles
or you might be emceeing an event 1 week from today. Okay. Maybe
that's right. My only thing is in order for me to do that, I need to find out what Mort's big announcement is. He can text me.
Okay.
Because It's burning me.
It's burning. Okay,
no, I'm going. So everyone show up for the A4L party on the 7th.
Well, I'm giving you a mic, so I think your latest rabbit hole. You got some time to tell people about it. Only if they show up 1 week from today, December 7th.
I'm going to tell people to preserve liberty for the next generation.
There you go.
This shit's gone. It's gone crazy. I want to reiterate before I'm gone here, is there's a lot of messages coming to my phone right now as we speak. And I want to reiterate here. I'm not the fucking mole.
I love you, Mark.
If me being here,
I kind of think he's the mole right now. He keeps saying it. I think he's the mole. Isn't that what the mole?
You know me better than anyone. Okay. That if you want to know the truth, just ask me. I am honest to a fault. I mean, does the dress look good on you? No, it looks like shit. You know.
That's why Lori was mad at you last week. Oh my God!
I'm going to tell the truth no matter what, and that's to a fault. But again, if I wouldn't be here if I thought it was going to hurt our chances to win. If I thought I was breaking some rule that I signed to be on the executive committee or something, I wouldn't be here. If I thought that I was going to hurt candidates' chances of winning. Mm-hmm. I just want to win, man. I just want my kids to have a good future. I'm here to set the record straight on what was said was a unanimous vote. Wasn't.
I just realized I haven't even talked to you about the subject till this morning when I asked if you want to come on the show. So.
Yeah, we haven't even been. Everyone thinks I'm like your mole, and I'm telling everything to you, and I get the proverbial stink eye at these meetings. I haven't fucking leaked anything to anybody.
Hey, I needed to talk to you other than about the event. Lisa and I were chatting about when you first met Lisa showing up at her property. I got to talk to you about a story. It was a killer Mark story because we haven't actually chatted in a week or two, Mark. So there you go. Not the mole. Mark's not the mole. Put the little ticker across the screen that says Mark is not the mole.
Yeah, if you're looking for a rat, I mean, David Hann. David Hann is the rat.
Well, he's the one that actually made a statement.
Yeah, he's the one that was leaking the information immediately. He was the one emailing all of the state central delegates with lies and a specific narrative. So it's funny that, that's the accusation they want to throw about others.
In fact, if you want to go above and beyond that, Jesse even asked me, to let him know. I didn't tell him.
Yeah.
I didn't tell him.
All right. Well, what other comments or questions do we have before?
Yeah, let's see here. Tucker Calls also agrees it's a uniparty. Brad Ganser, adherence to the party platform is a 30,000-foot problem. If you adhere to the platform, you cannot support omnibus bills. We got one man on a mission saying Rhino Deep State Pete Stauber has to go. I'm with you on that. We got Marty 1967. You should have Larry Deuce on the podcast. One man on a mission. The Minnesota GOP heads are trying to silence any patriot that is outspoken against any rhino. That we make the mistake of electing. We got Mickey Murray here. She says, my BPOU raised nowhere near $3,000 for any of the last 10 years. Bringing that up is just being messy. And Billy22 says, absolutely.
Yeah, but the reason they bring that up, it's a nice sleight of hand here. Oh, this is pathetic, right? The guy, whatever they said, the BPO next to him raised like $30,000, whatever they said. Yeah. It's like, yeah. I'll show you exactly. I know this stuff.
Yeah, and I'm also seeing a comment. It looks like
to flame on Yang.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. But I'm seeing another comment here. It looks like it was removed by Dawson. I'm not sure what Trumpers Flag 24 had to say that was so bad.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. He was really pushing his Telegram that had a whole one subscriber. It's a bot or some sort of spam.
You sure it's a bot?
Yes, I'm sure it's a bot.
Okay, I give a lot of power to Dawson here because we are definitely against censorship, but we don't want bots and trolls like that taking over our feed.
No worry, I only get rid of bots' opinions and Brad's. I block half of what Brad says.
No, we don't block Brad. Brad. By the way, Brad did a Rumble rant just as we signed off last week, so thanks for the Rumble rant. I think the Epkinator did too, so I think that... we haven't had a Rumble rant. Mark's breaking down a show today.
Not yet.
No, oh my God. Mark, thank you so much. I took way more time than you agreed to do, but partly that's your fault, just specifying how you're not the mole, so I guess you're not the mole, right?
I'm guilty of talking too much, but...
By the way, the other thing about the Christmas event... Lori is baking her beautiful, wonderful, tasty cookies again, and we're auctioning those off. And I want to say some went for hundreds of dollars. Those are some damn good cookies. Right.
They're done. So they're so beautiful, you don't want to even eat them. It's like you want to frame them. I'm not kidding. They're
Yeah,
unbelievable.
but if it's like a $25 cookie, because I think she does batches of 6 or whatever. I don't even know what we're auctioning off. That's an expensive cookie. Better eat it. There you go. We got a lot of good items.
2 dozens. I think she's going to do 2 baker's dozens for you.
2 baker's dozen. Nice. All right. There you go. December 7th. Come to the event. Go to actionforliberty.com. Thank you, Mark. Sorry for taking up so much time, but we really appreciate everything you're doing, buddy.
All right, man. Take it easy.
Yeah.
All right, and we just got our first Rumble rant here. We
there
got
you
Brad Ganser saying Dawson and I will be arm wrestling at the Christmas party. So Dawson, you got some.
Dawson's getting a little bit
you
bigger,
got some
though.
training to do. You got Brad in your way. So
Brad,
and I'm also
Brad, I would usually put the money on, but he's starting to gain some strength. Dawson told me he did shoulder presses with dumbbells. He did a set of 12 at 100 or 55 pounds, 55-pound dumbbells. I'm like, that's not bad, Dawson.
Yeah,
that's not bad. Does that worry you, Brad?
That's 3 sets for 12. Brad does have a pretty sizable advantage, though. I'm gonna have to be looking at his ugly face. So that's gonna get my mind.
Oh my God! Look at this guy dishing it out.
Yep, and
By the
I'm
way,
also
I would
seeing
arm wrestle David Hann anytime if he wants to.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm also seeing Jason Hack in Facebook here saying, "Love these lives. I am always here if you guys need help." And Kathy Forquette, it sounds like she's also talking about these Carhartt clothes and whatnot, that all these woke companies who want to pretend like they're conservative and then they push out a completely different message. And also catching up on a couple of these YouTube ones here. I see Big Al. I think Big Al is worried about his comment getting erased. We won't do that. Dawson might.
Dawson might.
And
He'll
then
get fired if he censors too much.
Yeah, and then
we'll tell him what Elon thinks about it.
Yeah, and Andrew Siski says, "Did you see cringe John Pierre bolt out of the briefing room using Simon Atiba as an excuse?" And yeah, that's Simon Atiba is that African journalist who got kicked out of the White House briefing room because he started asking too many tough questions, and that's not allowed in the Biden White House.
This just happened today, or what?
No, that happened about a week ago, and now he has to go through all these crazy press credential things. Okay. So he has to go through all kinds of crazy steps to get it. And then I'm also seeing we got another Rumble rant here. We got T-Wall for Life saying, "Looking forward to the Christmas party." Thank you guys for that.
Looking forward to seeing you, T-Wall.
Yep.
Mrs. Wall.
I'm looking at this YouTube comment. I haven't removed anything from YouTube.
I think he's more worried about the algorithm, about YouTube taking it out. That's my interpretation.
I want to respond. What was it, Mary or who was talking about the Patagonia or the woke company's Carhartt? Because it is a real problem.
Yeah, that was Kathy Forquette.
Yeah, it's a real problem. My head kind of thinks that too. It's like, showing off Patagonia, but it's like, Patagonia had a good start. It was a good company, and then they went far lefty. They still make quality down gear, right? Mm-hmm. It sucks. It really sucks. My place is, though, it's like, do you know how hard it is to get me to go clothes shopping? I do not want to buy new clothes. So Carhartt was nice because I could just kind of cut those little tags off there, but I'm still wearing Carhartt, right? I'm not going to get rid of my Carhartt.
Yeah, and you're using an Apple phone and...
Yeah, I'm using an Apple phone. Fair point.
All that stuff.
I'm wearing Hill People gear. That's what I have.
What the hell's Hill People?
It's out of Grand Junction, Colorado.
That could be bad.
Bad.
You don't know?
They have awesome stuff. I love this jacket.
Yeah, but what are their politics, Mort?
Oh, I guarantee they're quite conservative.
You guarantee it?
Oh, I do. Yes.
Ooh, I'm going to look them up.
Please do.
What was it called?
Hill People gear.
What would be my most non-woke stuff?
I have an Action for Liberty shirt.
Well, yeah, we know that's not woke. I'm just trying to think what would be my non-woke. Like, I'm guessing Sitka might not be. They're owned by Gore-Tex, though, so Gore-Tex is pretty big. Yeah, it would probably have to be some kind of hunting clothes. Kennetrek boots, pretty sure they're probably good conservatives.
Mm-hmm.
Hill People gear, designed by firefighters, made in the U.S. Nice.
What do you think Fall Raven is? You've convinced me on wearing Fall Raven clothes. I got to imagine that's Swedish companies.
Oh, yeah. I think they're all about the climate change crap. And
yep.
I did their hike in Colorado in August, and way over the top of the environmentalism. Like, you were supposed to poop in a plastic bag and throw it in with your food and carry it for the 3 days and the 40 miles. And
yeah, I know. I got a lot of mountain climbers friends.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest. Oh, you went with some of them. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Wasn't that Thanksgiving last year or something like that?
What? The Fall Raven thing was August.
No. With my buddies, Troy and Steve.
Oh, yeah. In April of 22, we went out to Colorado.
Oh, that was April of 22. Okay,
Yeah.
Easter. I was thinking it was a holiday.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, you got to poop in a bag.
Yeah.
Like, I'm out. I'm not doing that crap. All right, sorry to get off topic here. Do we have any other comments here? Well, let's go to this next story. That was interesting, by the way. I hope you guys enjoyed that. You're not going to get that anywhere else. Alpha News isn't covering that story.
No.
How dare you say something bad about the Republicans?
Yeah, nobody is going to be talking about that. So let me just say this.
Yeah, go ahead.
If you are a
Preach,
state
brother.
central delegate, okay, it is a small group of people, but if you are a state central delegate, my God, I hope you're registered to go to that convention. And when this thing comes to a boil, because it will come to a boil, and it'll probably come down to whether or not you agree with the chair on some rule, for the love of God, don't vote with the chair. Now, how this flushes out could end up being different, but vote to empower the delegates, yourself being one, and your fellow delegates, because if you just vote to consolidate the power with the chair, you're stripping your own voice away. So at least let this thing go down on a vote on the matter, and don't block the vote by consolidating power with the chair.
Yeah. Yeah, nothing's good coming from up there, right?
Yep. Yeah, and also just of the comments here real quick, I see Wendy McClure and let's see, Jen Wagner. They're both giving you some praise there, Mort. They're happy to see you in studio. And also seeing Dale Johnson's comment on Facebook there as well. So yeah, we're having an active comment section here today.
Well, why do we keep saying Trump or spam? It sounds like we're anti-Trump there, and that would really upset a lot of people.
I know. I put it in the comments there. Let's keep this guy in there. I think let's
but do you
give
think
this
it's a
group all
guy
a
or is
chance.
it a bot? Is it just a bot?
I have no idea.
Is it a bot,
It's
Dawson?
a bot. Yeah.
Okay.
People in the comments are saying to get rid of it too.
All right.
Oh, and I'm seeing a comment real quick. Truthseeker0450. If you are a delegate to the state central, you should check your email, and you should be able to find the link to register. You're going to want to do it pretty soon here. Otherwise, you're going to have to pay $85 instead of $65. Save that $20.
Why is it even so expensive? I don't even get that. Like, they're just
They're broke.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
not broke now. Well, they are in debt.
Well,
but
yeah, they got like $500,000 in debt and $150,000 in the bank or something. But
I got another story about the GOP. We haven't published this, but this new sketchy company in Wyoming that they're running their communications through.
okay,
Yeah, I don't have the full story ready to go, but they hired this newly registered company in Wyoming, and I think I know who it is. I think this company or the people behind the company are a scam group, like legitimately, like just in the Star Tribune. So we'll put that story together at some point, and then we'll make sure we get it out to you guys. No one's going to cover this stuff. That's the thing is, if you ever wonder why like Action for Liberty gets hated by a lot of these people in the Republican ranks. By the way, the average delegate loves us. I mean, what's not to love, huh? Right? What's not to love? Especially Jesse. But we put these guys in the spotlight, and they do not like that. But someone's got to do it because you got to. The only way to get rid of corruption is you got to put it in the spotlight. You got to tell people about it. You got to expose it. And that's what we do. And it's not a job you get a lot of praise for. You guys tune in, and I appreciate that. So, thank you so much, and thank you for the Rumble rants today too. Like I'm just humbled. Like we're on a streak of 5 months of Rumble rants. Like whoever thought that was going to happen? And pretty soon we're going to be doing something new with this show. It'll be very exciting. This show could go someplace, and it's all because of you guys. If you guys didn't tune in, we'd be like, all right, another podcast that didn't work, right? All right, no big loss here, other than maybe my ego, a little bit of my ego, maybe lose the platform for Jesse. Let's be honest, that's why people want us on air, is because they want Jesse's platform. By the way, Jesse's going to be speaking December 7th. Go to actionforliberty.com real quick, Dawson. Okay. Let's do this. Actionforliberty.com. You register. I'm telling you this right now. I got to give the final numbers to the Mermaids soon, and if you're not signed up, I'm going to have to cut it off. And that means you probably aren't going to win that AR-15. By the way, we're giving away.
It's cheaper than being a state central delegate. It's a cheaper endeavor. And
I didn't even think of that.
And not only that, you could actually win something out of this thing. So not only do you get a good dinner, you don't get a dinner at State Central. But you actually get something out of this cost here.
You get to hang out with Mark. You get to hear Mort's big announcement. I give you like 10, 15 minutes to rant, so you get to hear Mega Jesse a speech. You get to listen to me. I don't know how great that is these days. But there you go. That's a fun event. What was I looking up? Oh, yeah, the guns. I just got off the phone yesterday. Where did I put this? With our gun guy.
Yeah, and also I'm seeing a quick comment here. Dave's right. Will alternate delegates be seated? And yes, alternates are sat by their congressional district. So depending on if you are an alternate at the state central convention, you want to sign up, you want to register, pay the $65 beforehand, and yes, you know, almost 100% certain you're probably going to be seated. You just need to speak with whoever is in charge of your congressional district. They'll make sure that you're set up, make sure you get the delegate badge. So if you're an alternate, 100% we need you to be there.
Here's what we're giving away. We're giving away an AR, as I mentioned. I think it's an M&P, I want to say. We're giving away. They didn't have the Winchester in stock, so our FFL's got a Mossberg 500. They're donating. Hair Trigger Arms. Is it Hair Trigger Arms? Hair Trigger in Zimmerman, Minnesota. I can't think of what it is. Hair Trigger Gun Shop. I think it's Hair Trigger Gun Shop. Rick Snook, great owner. Awesome guy, done 3 years in a row. They're donating this to you guys because that's how much they love you. A Mossberg 500 camo wrapped. I said maybe the winner gets to go duck hunting with me. We're giving away Springfield Garrison 1911. That's a 45. Oh, man, I love that. And then we upped the value of the handgun this year. We're giving away a Sig Sauer P365, which is a carry 9mm.
Yeah, I got one of those.
You got the 365?
Yep.
Yeah. See, you like it?
I love the thing. It's my my bedroom protection. It's in my safe next to the bed and flashlight mounted and
nice.
Love that thing.
Nice. Yeah, I own some Sig Sauers before the boating accident that took away all my firearms. So, fortunately, they're at the bottom of the lake.
I have a quick question about that actually, because I'm looking into gonna be home owning soon, so better think about it. Is it still legal to have a handgun?
Yeah,
a normal
we're
one?
not Canada. We're not a communist country here.
I don't know. I've been rocking a butterfly.
Did you
knife
really
for-
not know that?
No. Mm-mm.
So you just thought something recently changed it so you couldn't own a handgun?
I hear a lot about how the Minnesota government is turning anti-gun, and when I think gun, I think all guns, I guess. So
Well, fair point. I'm definitely there's a bunch of Democrats that don't want you to even be able to own a handgun.
Yeah, I think the Democrats mean all guns too.
Yeah.
So, don't blame you for.
Well, they never say
interpreting
your
that way.
hunting rifle or your hunting shotgun. But
Oh yeah, they say the high capacity magazines, anything that holds more than 5
Assault
rounds.
rifles, yeah, whatever the hell that means.
I don't think I own a handgun that holds less than 5 rounds.
is it easy enough to get certified to use a handgun? Or
I
have
can
one?
help you out there, Dawson.
That would
Yes.
actually be really nice.
You
That'd
do
be
need a
helpful.
permit to carry or a permit to purchase.
I didn't know this before, but my roommate has a gun, and he's totally certified in it.
Don't say that on air.
Nobody knows who my roommate is.
I do.
Yeah,
That actually made him go up in my books now.
yeah,
I wouldn't have guessed that.
yeah.
Interesting.
There you go.
Okay. Very interesting. Like I said, I used to own guns. They all
No base.
were lost
I'm
in
not
that
joking.
tragic boating accident.
I'm not joking. I'm serious.
What are you serious about?
That I didn't know that about guns. I don't know anything about guns.
I know. I'm not shocked, I guess. Okay. I just, it's interesting.
We're not there yet. Not yet.
Well, we might never be because we own guns.
Yeah.
That's the thing. They got a problem on their hands if they tried doing that.
Sounds like we owe Dawson a range day.
Well, we got a range back here.
That's right.
I'm pretty good at the ranges, honestly. I can make that. I can rock a hand.
Yeah, that's right. You're a member of Prior Lake. I'm a member up in Hugo.
Yeah,
So
Horse and Hunt Club.
yeah, we got lots of different gun clubs you can shoot at. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, I saw a comment interested in the 1911. That's right. Come to this event. Right there. No, it doesn't cost you anything. You could just join. You can just register. We're giving away the firearms, right? So you don't have to pay a dime. I know I'm not shitting on the groups like Ducks Unlimited, Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, and others. They do the raffle. I have no problem with that. I buy those raffles too. I volunteer Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation. I buy table because I really believe in elk restoration projects. So I'm not shitting on those groups, but you don't just get a you don't just get a free opportunity to win a gun. We're just giving you a free opportunity. You don't have to. There's no cost to you. You come to our event and we will allow you to win one of those guns. It's really awesome, and we'll have Bridget pick it out of the hat because she's the most honest person here, right? But she's not here. China virus 2.0. Let's get to the story here. We're going over a little more than an hour. I've been trying to keep it closer to an hour, okay? But there's just too much to talk about. This is important. So we told you on Tuesday this China pneumonia case is on the rise. You know about this, Mort?
I've read a little bit about it. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Feeling a deja vu, because it was late 2019, about this time of the year, when China had this coronavirus. And I remember researching it and looking at death rates and doing the math and going, holy shit, this thing might have like a 3% death rate. But we didn't know the actual denominator at the time. And of course, now we know it's like 0.3%. But it feels like it all over again. And now they're warning, though, it's kids are the most affected by it, they're saying.
Which changes the dynamic, right? Completely. But here's the deal. It's not known that this is a single virus or it's a novel virus of any sort. It's just that these cases are spiking. Pull up this article in Ohio. Apparently, there's a county, Warren County in Ohio, is seeing an outbreak in pneumonia cases among children. There have been 142 cases since August, which seems crazy. I always think of pneumonia as like, granddaddy got pneumonia, right? Not like little kids. Warren County has seen an extremely high increase in pediatric pneumonia cases this fall, the Warren County Health District said. This is according to WCPO of Cincinnati. I think this is right outside Cincinnati. There have been 142 cases since August, which is both above the county average and also meets outbreak standards, according to the Ohio Department of Health. The WCHD said they believe this is a large uptick in pneumonia at once, not a new or novel respiratory disease. Now, so once again, it's like, okay, what is behind this stuff? Maybe we don't know. Why are we seeing a spike in it? And it go ahead. I could see you firing up here, Mort.
I don't know much about it, right? It's kind of like early COVID, so I don't know. I don't want to speculate, but what I think is interesting, and people can call me the conspiracy theorist, but I can say honestly that over the last, 4 years, a lot of my conspiracy theories that I've opted into have become true. So, but it alarms me that all the messaging is it affects kids, because that's what we can all look back now at COVID and go, okay, it was affected the most, typically the elderly, right? People, the older they are, the more likely they were to really suffer from it. But we bent over backwards to protect people, the 99% that really weren't going to be affected anyway. But that's what makes me nervous with this one. Is it true that it's mostly kids? I guess if you trust the media, it is. But is it just messaging? Because that would scare the hell out of a lot of people. Is if it really goes after children, that pulls on the heartstrings for obvious reasons. So I'm kind of nervous about that. I'm not ready to buy that it really has its target kids as often as they're saying, just because I don't trust the media. And that was like the 1 week COVID argument that we can all, I think, agree on now. But it's scary.
Here's the thing that's interesting to me is you have these case spikes in China, you got something in the Netherlands, and then now you got a county in Ohio. So it's like, if this isn't some kind of virus, how come it's hitting like this? It seems crazy. What would make sense is someone from the Netherlands, someone from Warren County traveled to China, they come back and they're spreading something, which is of course what would happen during COVID-19.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm looking at you like you're some kind of medical expert.
Yeah, I don't know. So I don't know much about it. Are they saying this is not like a respiratory virus?
That's what they're saying. Oh. That's what they say a lot of things. They said wear a mask. They said roll up your sleeve. So that's what they are saying.
Yeah. Well, then why is China, because I read this morning that they're putting mask mandates back in place, social distancing, but if it's not a respiratory virus that spreads through the air, what is social distancing? Actually,
truth be known, Mort, if it's respiratory virus that spreads through the air, why are they masking up?
Well, yes, right? Of course, yes.
But you were almost making the wrong argument there for a second.
Well, I'm not saying masks have anything to have any help.
Well, they might do. Masks do have utility in some kind of cases of spreading and germs and stuff like that. It's just like in a respiratory disease with the molecule being smaller than the threading, it's like it doesn't do anything, right?
Yeah, it was 0.125 microns in size.
Right.
And
all right. Well, we'll stay on top of this story because this is interesting. I have no idea where this goes, but we're getting a bunch of mixed results. But that's what happened in COVID-19 too. Like we didn't know, and then all of a sudden they're shutting down the economy.
But here we are, presidential election year.
That's what we're all thinking.
I don't think it's any coincidence. But I'm nervous what this thing's going to end up being.
Well, that was the thing is like, how does Biden beat Trump? Trump, who's really a good campaigner, and Biden, who can't even like basically campaign.
Yep.
And just imagine 4 years later, it's even worse. well, you have this big global pandemic where he can sit in his basement and run for president. It's like, wow, that was interesting how that worked out.
Yep, and secretaries of state can change the rules and the laws just willy-nilly. Of course, they can't, but they did.
But they did.
Yeah, I mean, I think Trump was right that's one of the main ways that they interfered with the election, and this entire thing happening to Trump is obviously all election interference. And
well, I'm glad you said election interference. Okay, we're gonna get to this story in just a second. Trump doing well in a poll, but the biggest election interference. You could say what you want about fraud, election stolen, all that kind of stuff. Here's what we know for a fact. There was massive election interference by social media companies, and now we know that was done because and at the direction of the FBI. Our federal government was telling social media companies to suppress stories, get rid of groups that were speaking out truth about COVID. So here's a story. Elon Musk is on MSNBC, or CNBC, and he's got a message. You told me you hadn't seen this yet.
No.
Okay, this is great. So Elon Musk got a message to all the advertisers who want to bail on X, formerly known as Twitter. This is the whole thing. Oh, he's anti-Semitic. That stupid shit that they were doing to try to sink X. And let's be honest. They're trying to sink X because they don't own the monopoly anymore on media. They did in the last election cycle. Twitter was right at the discretion of the federal government silencing like true information, like the Hunter Biden laptop and all that kind of stuff. So now they don't have X, and that's a problem for them. That's why you see the hit jobs on Elon Musk. So here's Elon Musk's message to advertisers. Go ahead and hit play.
Are we watching the whole thing?
I'll watch the first minute and a half, I think.
Okay.
What's that trip like? And obviously, that there's a public perception that, and you're clarifying this now, but there's a public perception that was part of a apology tour, if you will. That this had been said online. There was all of the criticism. There was advertisers leaving. We talked to Bob Iger today.
I hope they stop.
You hope?
Don't advertise.
You don't want them to advertise?
No.
What do you mean?
If somebody's going to try to blackmail me with advertising, blackmail me with money, go yourself.
But
go yourself. Is that clear? I hope it is. Hey, Bob. You're in the audience.
Well, let me ask you then.
That's how I feel. Don't advertise.
How do you think then about the economics of X? If part of the underlying model, at least today, and maybe it needs to shift, maybe the answer is it needs to shift away from advertising. If you believe that this is the one part of your business where you will be beholden to those who have this view, what do you do?
Why?
I understand that, but there's a reality too.
All right, go ahead. That's good. I think we got the gist of it. And he stands by his comment too. Listen, I have no idea if Elon Musk is for good down the road. What I can see is Elon Musk is doing good in this next election cycle, okay? Because by having X, formerly known as Twitter, off the table for the establishment, the institutions, the government, the FBI, for having them off the table, that is a huge, huge ding against the globalist play. I mean, they don't have one of the biggest platforms.
Yeah, and I love what he said. Have you seen this Dana White footage when he was on some podcast?
Oh yeah, the Peloton you talking about?
Yeah, the Peloton.
Oh, that was great.
Yeah, he had pretty much he had the exact same message that Peloton said. You got to take some post down about supporting Donald Trump on Dana White's personal page, and he said, "Go fuck yourself."
Yeah,
I'm gonna do it. And in fact, he supposedly even threw out all the Peloton machines.
Yeah, I saw the video.
I love it. I mean, I love that. Then that takes some guts to do stuff like that because he's got. I guess it's not even publicly held because he owns it all now, right?
Dude, I'll tell you what. If you're the Elon Musk, it's like so. Eventually goes on. It's like, well, what if this crashes Twitter?
Yeah.
Which obviously he doesn't want, right?
Yeah,
but it's like
$40 billion or whatever.
Yeah, but it's like. Like he's still he might get bumped down to number 3 wealthiest man.
Yeah,
I love that. It's an insane amount of wealth. You can't even comprehend that kind of wealth. So it's like, whatever.
Gosh, that is awesome.
By the way, I apologize to my mother and Naomi if you're watching today for all the bad language on this show. Naomi told me this over Chili for deer hunting. That she loves the show, but my language sometimes she's very upset. She goes to my parents' church, and so I said, I try my best. I got a little bit of potty mouth since joining the Army, and so anyone, sorry, I apologize, but this one definitely had a lot of foul language in it. Important issues. That's what I had behind. Very important issues. Let's go to the comment section here.
I wasn't ready.
Sorry, I caught Jesse off guard. What, are you texting a girl there? What do you got going on there? He's like, Trump just truthed out. That's what it was.
No, I don't know. What comments are you talking about here?
I just going into comments. I saw that there's a lot of reactions here. I'm sorry, catching you off the guard.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right, let me go to the next story then, because this is a story you're definitely going to want to cover, and then we'll get to your comments. Sorry, I caught Jesse off. I don't know what he's doing.
Yeah.
You think he's a professional?
Well, I'm trying to monitor 3 things at the same time here.
See, we need you back, Bridget. Stop going to Ireland. We can't have you going to Ireland. We need you here.
You have to monitor 3 things at a time. I'm kidding.
What, Dawson's feisty today. First he challenges Brad Ganser in arm wrestling, which we will do live on air, by the way.
It's leg day, and I'm hyped. I'm pumped up.
Yeah. That's live. Do you accept, Brad, live on air?
I'll totally arm wrestle you. That'll be fun.
Actually, I think Brad wants to do a push-up contest, too. Brad really wants to.
I would kick ass at a push-up contest.
No, I think it was against me.
Oh, that would be hilarious. You should do that.
Why is that? Why is that hilarious?
What? To see you and Brad going at it, doing push-ups? That's great.
Why don't Brad and I do the arm wrestling?
Okay, I'll do.
This show's devolved into something really interesting. All right, let's go to. Well, it was just a week ago we were talking about fighting politicians, so it is what it is. Actually, you've been the closest to fighting a politician when you slammed Tim Walz's lemon bars back in his face.
Yeah, yeah. I've never told. So I was thinking about this the other day actually, because I was so appalled by that guy, and the video I took of him only covered not even half of our interaction. But what I'll just tell this quick story. That guy's pompous, attitude and air of superiority, his arrogance in our initial interaction when he said, "Hey, I'm pretty good at this. I moved here from Nebraska, didn't know anybody, and I got elected governor." And I was just like, God, you're bragging about how good of a politician you are. This is so gross. So that's when I turned my camera on and turned back to him. And in those, 1 second it took to grab my phone and turn around and turn it on, his whole demeanor changed, the look on his face. It was like watching an actor go from being themselves to into character. Like the shift that he made.
Really?
It was so disgusting.
So you mean like the frustration became from, it was fake frustration? What are you saying there? Because that was the interesting thing about his his demeanor. The way I took it watching that video was like, how are you talking to me this way? No one talks to me this way.
Well, sure, he said those things, but just he was so braggadocious and pompous when he wasn't on camera. Then I turned around, and I'm just thinking of the initial, when he sees me turn around with my phone, he was upright and he had this big phony smile on, and I was just like, where was the guy that was just here a second ago? You were a pompous prick, 1 second ago, bragging about his ability to win over people and get their votes when, he just moved here from out of state. And now he's in character, and it was just whatever. It was just so obnoxious to watch that change happen. It was literally like watching an actor. Yeah. Which to me just proves it's so much.
Well, that's what politicians are, aren't they? They're just actors. Okay. Well, let's go to some comments here. I think we got some people weighing in on. We caught Jesse leaking information. All right, there we go. We know them all now.
Wait, what are we talking about?
Brad Ganser. You caught Jesse leaking information.
Pulling up on me. Oh, here we go. Okay. Yeah.
See, I get the most recent because I just see the big screen.
Let's see. Brad Ganser regarding Twitter. I love what Elon Musk has done to steal the voice of the left-wing mob. Tucker says he goes on, cares more about doing actual good than looking good, but doing evil. I don't know if I buy any of that crap. I don't trust Elon Musk at all. So Laser Jim 56 says your podcast is stuttering. So Dawson, you might want to check if there's some kind of sound issue.
It's probably a Rumble thing, honestly.
And Tucker says refresh. I was having issues earlier, but they cleared up. So yeah,
by the way,
it's a
Rumble
thing.
just did what YouTube has, where you can send a link that starts at a certain point, which
they just got that.
Listen, YouTube didn't have it all figured out this early in the game. So
yep, and I'm also seeing Dale Johnson, Kathy Forquette, to having some Jen Wagner having some good conversation about vaccines in the Facebook comment section there. And James Martin says, miss Eric in office. True fighter for the people.
Yes. Good. Yeah, he was. I know I've said this to you many times, but probably not on the air, but what you did in office was tough. And you got a lot of enemies for it. Yeah. I just want you to know, we know how tough it was. And people think you screwed up around the Capitol. And the thing that I like about it, and this is how I introduced you in our email, is like more, because I didn't evaluate you on like your job at the Capitol. I evaluated on the fact that you went around the state of Minnesota teaching activists how to get involved in the process. I mean, listen, you and I went on the road to go against Governor Walz's orders. We went up to Jane Moss up in East Grand Forks, and we went to Cornerstone Cafe in Monticello, and Lisa's place. God, I miss Lisa. Not Lisa Hansen.
Yeah, Lisa.
We didn't.
Monet.
No, we didn't go to Lisa Hansen's, but Lisa Monet.
Yep, the alibi and.
Yeah, I feel so bad for Lisa Monet because that was an awesome place.
Yeah, it was an awesome place. I'd never been there before.
Right.
But it was awesome. I went to St. Patrick's Bar and Grill just south of me that same day. That was like my last stop that night, and yeah, and that's what I'm passionate about is trying to empower people with the information and the tactics that they need to know to actually be effective in politics, because you can spin your wheels on politics probably more so than anything else you could do in your life, because typically the people in power, they want you distracted. Like I saw somebody commented that her state rep Brian Johnson told her, well, you're just one person. There's nothing you can do to stop the corruption in Minnesota. And maybe we can find that comment, because I would tell that, I think it was a woman, that's bullshit. And Brian Johnson's a moron, by the way. I just rolled my eyes every time he would speak on the House floor, because he would sit there and drone on and on and on about nothingness. And so I would tell you, don't listen to Brian Johnson. Feel free to call me. I'm happy to give you some guidance.
No, I mean, honestly, the average person could do so much. The system of politics this deck is stacked against you. But you do still hold the power. At the end of the day, I understand politicians are bought and paid for, right? But that only works to a certain degree. Listen, Eric Mortensen took out a rhino, Bob Lunan, right? Lunan was bought and paid for, clearly. I mean, he went up to Capitol. It was his drinking buddies, right?
Yep.
So you took him out. And I shouldn't say you took him out. You're just the guy that was running. It took a lot of people voting for you, endorsement, primary, and then eventually general election. Of course, blue wave in 2018, but 2020 you get elected and put in office.
Yep.
So it does work. So people can be very powerful. I think people understand that even though these guys are bought and paid for, it doesn't mean they can't be removed from office. By the way, I saw a story. Kevin McCarthy's thinking of stepping down.
Oh, funny how that happens when you get a primary challenger and you've pissed off the grassroots.
Right. All right. Let's do this story. Trump and Biden are a virtual tie in Minnesota, huh, Jesse? Is that true?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Dawson, go ahead and pull up that article there. So, yeah, there's a new poll put out there by MidPost, which has found that Trump and Biden are basically in an exact tie when the margin of error is factored in. Scroll down, Dawson. You can see those are the results of the poll right there. So Joe Biden at 45%, Donald Trump at 42%, not sure at 7%, and would not vote at 6%. So with the margin of error of 2.6%, that means that Donald Trump is within 0.4% of being completely tied with Joe Biden. Everybody says that Minnesota is not a winnable state. Everybody says that this is a blue state. I don't believe it. I've always known that we could win with Trump here in Minnesota. Go ahead and scroll down a little further there. Donald Trump's favorability is higher than Joe Biden's in Minnesota at this point, too. He also has a higher disapproval rating as well, but Donald Trump has obviously more support and definitely more active, loud, and ambitious support from the grassroots. And scroll down a little bit more, you'll see right there that is a go up. The GOP primary survey right there, so you can see it's Trump at 60% here in Minnesota. That is, I love to hear that. That tells me right now, okay, we got it locked up in Minnesota right now for Trump for this primary here. We got Rob DeSanctimonious at 17%. We got Bird Brain Nikki Haley. We got Vivek the Fake, Vivek the Snake, and then we got Fat Ass Chris Christie and Doug Burgum, Bill Gates Burgum. So, considering that that's the competition, I get exactly why the Minnesota GOP grassroots conservatives are making the decisions that they're making. And scroll down one more time there, Dawson. I just want to give that picture in people's minds. Does that look like a red state to you, or does that look like a blue state? To me, that looks like a red state right there, because if you look all across our state, it's red, it's conservative. It's only in these small little pockets that we have these Democrat control. But when you look at what Trump's doing, he's winning over young people. He's winning over black voters. He's winning over urban voters. He's winning over the suburban mothers, moms as well. So I think that Trump is putting together this unique Trump train that it's the most unique, unbelievable political movement in the history of our country. And, it might just come to fruition where we are competitive here in the state of Minnesota. The Democrats don't want us to think that. They tell us that it's not competitive to make sure that the conservatives don't turn out for the election. I'm telling people this is our chance. This is our year because Joe Biden is so pathetic that we can win with Trump here in Minnesota, and it's going to happen.
Look at the Red Lake tribe is like the darkest blue for Biden on that map. Did you see that?
Yeah.
That is interesting. So first of all, I look at this poll and it's Joe Biden versus Donald Trump, not sure and would not vote. So would not vote matters not here. The not sure is the independent voters, which could easily swing either way. Mm-hmm. But what happens, and I tried looking this up, I didn't see any crosstabs. What happens if you throw in the Cornel West and the Jill Stein and the other third-party candidates?
It'd be interesting to know. Nobody wants to run that poll, though. Yeah. And there's not many good
JFK,
polls that...
I would imagine JFK will be on the ballot in Minnesota, won't he?
Hopefully not. And not if I have something to say about it.
You don't think JFK... What do you mean?
RFK.
RFK.
No, I mean, we'll see. It's tough to get on the ballot. I'm sure he's going to, though. It's not very hard in Minnesota.
And also, he takes more from Trump, though?
Of course.
In Minnesota?
Yeah, of course.
I don't think it's of course.
That's what I keep hearing, too, that he's likely to take more support from Trump.
Do you hear any Democrats saying, I kind of like RFK, or do you hear Republicans saying that? It's obvious where he's getting his support from.
Well, there's definitely a faction on both sides that just do not like the candidates on the top ballot.
Mm-hmm. But I saw an interesting poll that had, it was among black voters. It had Trump at like 16%, Biden at 50%, and then RFK Jr. at like 22, 23. I can't remember what the exact number was, but maybe that's just because black voters are saying, well, I don't like either of these people, but it's early support. I think most people haven't even done any digging into him yet. They've seen someone on the news about him. And also one thing I want to point out too, that this poll comes on the heels of when they tried to remove Trump from the ballot here in Minnesota. They wanted to take him off the primary ballot. They wanted to take him off the general ballot. They took it all the way to the Minnesota Supreme Court. And so what we're seeing is that the guy who they say committed an insurrection, the guy who tried to overthrow our country, that guy is tied with the president of the United States in Minnesota. So what does that say? It shows that, people aren't falling for the BS witch hunts. People are seeing exactly through it. They know it's the deep state going after Trump, and they know that these crimes aren't legitimate. So, and sometimes when they push people too far, they end up going the other way. I think the media's made a mistake on this one.
Pull the map back up. I saw Tucker's comment here. He's like, it all has universities in that map portion. Mm-hmm. And that's not 100% true. I mean, we could go into a long diatribe on what it is, but there's a lot of truth to what he's saying because you get to Rochester, Mankato, Moorhead area. Certainly the universities have an impact. Mm-hmm. But, you got the Red Lake Tribe, which is the darkest blue. The Twin Cities goes blue for many reasons. You got that far northeast corner. You know a little bit about this, Mort.
Yep.
You get the nutty artistic left-wingers and environmentalist people. And that's actually the battleground up there in the Iron Range because it's the mining community, which is like now turning red versus the environmental people. But the universities definitely do go blue, so there's no doubt about it. And it's not because it's students, by the way. Students will vote at home or absentee, or they will vote. They vote in very low numbers. It's the administrative bureaucracy that makes those towns so left-leaning. Okay, let's end it there. Unless we got any other comments. Am I missing any comments here? Anything important?
Yeah, let's see here. Jen Wagner says the wall should be in prison. Got to agree with that. Rodeo 55, I agree. I'm in Bemidji, and the Red Party has to get their asses in gear and do some work. Instant Zipper Ball If says Kanye got on the ballot, so that's true. Kanye, if Kanye got on the ballot in Minnesota in 2020, I'm sure that RFK Jr. is well positioned to do
What's
that.
this thing about Heinzman? The entire Heinzman?
Yeah,
We'll go back
I'm not sure. The entire one man on a mission says the entire Heinzman family and the Carlton County Miller family, along with their darling rhino backstabbing stalber, needs to go. Okay, so one man on a mission. Obviously, you got a lot of passion about Pete Stauber, so maybe you got to be the one to do it. I'd like to see something happen there.
Oh yeah, I mean Stauber's big rhino, right? Yeah, I don't even think there's a question about that.
Well, and especially a lot of people came to realize that with the Jim Jordan vote when he wouldn't get behind Jim Jordan for speaker.
Yep.
A lot of people saw that for what it was.
That's what One Man on a Mission did with that block of text. I'm reading it and it's astounding. The entire Heinzman family and the Carlton family, Miller family, along with their darling rhino backstabbing stalber, need to go.
Yeah,
that should be an art form.
Hold on, let me
yeah,
see.
that is pretty
That's
nice. And yeah, Brad Ganser also
put it back on screen there.
Yeah, and Brad Ganser also says here, Heinzman door knocking Mort was an instant classic. So I'm sure everyone who needs to go see that video, if you don't know what we're talking about, go watch the video of Josh Heinzman knocking on Eric Mortensen's door, trying to convince your wife not to vote for you.
Yep.
Oh God,
it happened.
When you sent that to me, I was
and
like,
I got home as it was happening, and it was beautiful.
Yeah, then he runs.
He cowered and
he
ran
runs
away
away.
so fast.
So
Yeah.
funny.
Did it work?
Did what work?
Did you-
How did Carrie
did
vote?
your
Yeah,
wife
she
vote
flipped.
for
She
you?
voted for me.
Oh,
Yeah.
Good job. Good job, Josh. You changed your hearts and minds.
Yep.
Oh man, and he believed that we were behind his challenger, which was really funny to me.
I know, and he thought I was behind it, and it's just the rumors. Politics is like high school.
It is. It's very much
unbelievable.
like it. Yeah.
I've been told about
I've been told Mark Bishofsky's a mole.
Yeah, I'm hearing that I'm running for state party chair, or I'm running for Congress. Like, apparently I'm very ambitious, and I'm going to run for about 12 seats next year.
So what you're
Yeah.
running for, we'll bring up next week. 1 week away. Go to actionforliberty.com. Pull it up there, Dawson.
Oh my God.
Action for Liberty. I got to give numbers here. That's why I'm sorry I'm being so pushy, okay? I'm being a little pushy. I get it. I can see myself being a little pushy, but I want you to win those guns. I mean, Nate, let's go back through this list here. We're giving away an AR. I mean, geez, right there, you got me. Non-Biden approved AR. A Mossberg 500 it's camel wrap. That's sweet. Springfield Garrison 1911. That's a 45 round, which is awesome. And then a Sig Sauer P365 9mm. It's a carry gun. It's what Mort has, right? I may have owned Sig Sauers before the boating accident. So those are freaking nice weapons. Like, come to this event. No, you don't have. We're not selling raffle tickets. We're gonna give you a free ticket. All right. Dinner is $60. Starts 6 o'clock. Doors open at 5. We got a cocktail hour. I'm gonna put it this way. We did think about bringing it. We actually kind of reached out to Matt Gaetz. They're actually in session. We thought about. I tried seeing if there was interest in Vivek. Because quite frankly, there's only one that was interested. I was like kind of against getting big speakers. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say big speaker. I think you're a big speaker. I think you're a big speaker. But I mean like out of state speakers.
Yep.
Because I think we're gonna have a damn good time with the crew we got. And honestly, we also have an auction, and that auction's fun. If you want to try to win our state fair sign, which is always fun, you can win the state fair sign in an auction. But yeah, it's a great time. So go to actionforliberty.com, sign up, get your ticket. We're gonna have to cut off the numbers maybe this weekend, maybe Monday, Tuesday. I don't know. Yeah. But you better just not risk it, okay?
Mm-hmm. And one more thing I want to say before we go off the air here, because I think by the time we're on our next show, George Santos is probably going to be expelled from Congress. And I just want to be on the record and say that is a dumb move. They should keep George Santos in Congress. He's done nothing wrong. He's lied like the rest of them. Big whoop. And I think he's actually more MAGA than, maybe half of them in there. So, I don't know. I'll take the gay liar MAGA guy over, Fishbach. I don't know. I look at some of these people and I just go, what's going on here? And, all they're going to do is take their Republican majority from 9 down to 8. It's so stupid. If you're are you trying to pass things, or are you trying to, take some moral high ground? I'm not here for it.
I just want to say something real quick. His lies are like stupid lies. Like, maybe I don't know all the lies, but it's like, my mom died in 9/11. No, she didn't. Right?
Yeah.
It's like the other ones lie about, we're not collecting metadata on you. We need to balance the budget, otherwise we'll default on our debt. Like, those lies are really costly, what most politicians do. And yeah, George Santos is a piece of shit. So I don't feel any sorrow over that one.
No, but I mean, I agree. I think that, yeah, I mean, the lie that your mom dies in 9/11 and then to say you played on, a college volleyball team, you never played volleyball a day in your life, claims he's Jewish, he's not at all. It's, there's so much out there that it's like, why do we not want to be entertained? It's so stupid to me, Let's not pretend like these politicians are all that, because they're just as stupid and just as corrupt as George Santos.
Yeah, fair enough. Good point.
Meanwhile, Biden's not being impeached.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, they had a press conference about that yesterday, but it wasn't important enough for me to even bring it up because I think you're just getting little headlines. Let's see some action here, guys. They're talking about doing a formal vote on an impeachment inquiry. On an inquiry.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be back on Tuesday. Make sure you go get your tickets for the Christmas event. And thank you very much for all the Rumble rants and all the comments here. We will be back. I don't know what the show will be up on Tuesday, but we will be right here in these seats bringing this show to you. Thank you very much for watching.